8051 has timer counter option. So we will be discussing about that in this particular first part of this session related to timer operation. 8051 timer counter. This is basically the option available. There are two timers. They can be used as timers or to as counters, so as to count events happening outside the microcontroller. In the due course of interfacing applications, you can use it as a counter also. And to get the intended delay, you can use it as timer. So these two timers are generally named as timer 0 and timer 1. They can be used either as a timers or event counters, and the timer register are looking after the entire operation and the activities. The program which is written for a particular operation, so as to generate the respective delay or to monitor something. So that particular program is including whatever are the necessary say conditions or the parameters related to that particular timer. So this session we will be discussing on the various points related to timer. This is first part where I have shared something about mode 1. In the second part I will be sharing about mode 2. Now to explain timer register, TMOD format must be known. So our main objective is to get first of all the information about TMOD register format. Then that is one SFR. Then second thing is to identify timer mode. So timer is operating in mode 0, mode 1, mode 2, mode 3. So out of that, which mode is suitable, when it is to be used. So for that, what are the basically the settings? So all that part one must know. So and one has to identify it first of all. Then to calculate values to be loaded in TH and TL register. This is the most important part in as far as timer operation is considered or the timer programming is considered, and then make use of mode 1 timer features to generate required delay or to produce the square wave. So these are some issues which we will be dealing with in this particular session. So one we will see. So fundamentally, as already I stated, that it has two timer counters. They can be used as timer to generate time delay or as a counter to count whatever is happening outside the microcontroller. Both the timer 0 and timer 1 are 16-bit wide, and since 8051 has an 8-bit architecture, each 16-bit timer is accessed as two separate registers, that is low byte and high byte, in the form of TH and TL. So here you can see the low byte register is called TL0 in timer 0 and TL1 in timer 1. The high byte register is called TH0 and TH1 respectively. So simply by loading the value in TL0 or TH0 or TL1 or TH1, we are going to operate the expected results we are going to obtain. D15 to D0, it is split in two parts. D0 to D7 is TL0. Same fashion for the timer 1 also, D0 to D7 is TL1, and upper side that is TH0 and TH. Now both timers 0 and 1 use the same register, and that register is called TMOD register, which is looking after timer mode to set the various timer operation modes. TMOD is 8-bit register. The lower 4 bits are for timer 0 and upper 4 bits are for timer 1. Now in each case, the lower 2 bits are used to set the timer mode, the upper 2 bits to specify the operation. So one by one we will go through. Here you can see the format basically. LSB bit is M0, then M1. So here you are going to set the mode, then C/T, that is counter or timer, and then gate control is a bit, gating control it is called. Then M0, M1, C/T, and again gate. So same thing is duplicated timer 0 and timer. Now here you can see from LSB to MSB operation wise. So this gating control, that is gate terminal, this is when set the timer counter is enabled, so as to make it you have to make it 1 only when the interrupt pin, that is INTX pin, is high and TRX control pin is set. So this is a condition for this particular TRX control pin is set and INTX pin is high. Then whenever this is cleared, that is whenever it is made 0, then the timer is enabled, and whenever the TRX control, at that time the TRX control bit is set. So operation wise, you can particularly take care while setting this particular bit, that is get control bit. Then C/T indicating timer or control counter operation. So it is 0 for timer operation. Input from internal system clock is taken, and it is set for counter operation. Input from TX input is taken. So this is basically the difference. In case of counter operation, the input is taken from TX pin, and in case of timer operation, the internal system clock is considered as an input as far as this T pin is considered. So these are some of the say characteristics and operations of mode 1. Here one more thing in the format you can see. So your mode bit setting M0 and M1. So in the the previous slide we have just shown the picture. So there 000 is 13-bit timer mode. So operating mode when mode bit both are M1 and M0 and mode bit is set to 0, that is 13-bit timer, and here it is 8-bit timer counter THX with TLX as 5-bit prescaler it is used. Then 0 1, then there is mode 1. So 00 mode 0, 01 is mode 1, 16-bit timer mode, and 16-bit timer counter THX and TLX are cascaded. There is no prescaler. Then 10 mode 2, so it is 8-bit auto reload. 8-bit auto reload timer counter THX holds a value that is to be reloaded into TLX each time when it overflows. And 11 is mode 3, so split timer mode. So conventionally this is not recommended. Now for one by one we will go. First of all, say I am talking about mode 1. In general, the operation is mode 0 or mode 1 or mode 2. One more thing just I want to add before going for the actual say small program and how to write a program for timer operation. So before that, just remember every timer needs a clock pulse to tick. Okay, this is very important. You have to remember this before writing the program. Every timer needs a clock pulse. What is the source of the clock pulse for 8051 timer? So that is nothing but C/T pin. Now crystal frequency attached to 8051 is the source of the clock for the timer. This means that the size of the crystal frequency attached to the 8051 also decides the speed at which 8051 timer ticks. Getting? This is very important. So independently it can't work because the basic supply is from that oscillator. In the figure also on this slide you can see. So XTAL oscillator, crystal oscillator is the basically the source which is supply. This means that this size of crystal frequency attached to 8051 is also playing very important role. The frequency for the timer is always 1/12 of the frequency of the crystal attached to it. This rule you remember. So whatever crystal frequency is there, divided by 12 is the operating frequency for the timer. Although for various 8051 based systems, XTAL frequency is with varying range, that is it ranges from 10 megahertz to 40 megahertz almost. So we have to concentrate which particular is used here most of the times in our discussion, because the generic Atmel 8051 series they are using 11.0592 megahertz. So that is the allowed operating crystal frequency, and with that the operating frequency divided by 12 will be obtained. Now this is a general thing you have to remember as far as clock source for timer is considered. Then secondly, as far as gate bit is considered, that is we mentioned about gate bit, TMOD register, that timer 0 and timer 1, both of them are having gate bit. Then what is the main role? Every timer has a means of starting and stopping. Getting? Some timers do this by software, some by hardware. Some have both software and hardware controls. This you have to remember. The timers in 8051, that is following both, that is software as well as hardware. The start and stop of the timer are controlled by way of software by timer start bit TR0 and TR1. This is achieved by the instruction set B TR1 and clear, that is CLR TR1 for timer 1, and set B TR0 and CLR TR0 for timer 0. So through instruction you can do this. The set B instruction starts it and it is stopped by the clear instruction. These instructions start and stop the timers as long as gate is equal to 0. You have to remember this. So set particular timer and clear particular timer is carried out with the condition that gate bit is kept 0 in the T-mode register. The hardware way of starting and stopping the timer by the external source is achieved by means of making gate bit 1 in the T-mode register. To avoid the confusion, we are making gate bit 0, and through the instruction in the program, that is set B or clear respective timer register, we are setting or resetting the timer. The use of external hardware to stop or start the timer is actually involving interrupt operation. So whenever we use any external interrupt, so at that time that pin is made 1. Now here this is the fundamental part as far as timer is considered. You have to remember this. Also you have to remember the format of TCON register. So that is also very important. Now one by one we will go. First of all, for mode 1 operation, it is a 16-bit timer. Therefore it allows value of 0000 to FFFF. So that is to be loaded into the timers register TL and TH. After TH and TL are loaded with 16-bit initial value, the timer must be started. This is done by set B TR0 for timer 0 and set B TR1 for timer 1. After the timer is started, it starts to count up. So it counts up until it reaches its limit of FFFF. So this is a pictorial view with respect to TR it is going to do, and whenever there is overflow, it is going to take the decision. When it rolls over from FFFF to 0000, it sets high a flag bit called timer flag, that is TF. Each timer has its own timer flag, TF0 for timer 0 and TF1 for timer 1. This timer flag can be monitored. When this timer flag is raised, one option would be stop the timer with the instruction clear TR0 or clear TR1. So whenever TF is set, then timer is going to execute stop timer instruction for timer 0 and timer 1, same rule. After the timer reaches its limit and rolls over, in order to repeat the process, TH and TL must be reloaded with the original value and TF must be reloaded to 0. So this also you have to remember once the timer operation or the timer is initiated and the operation starts. Now to generate time delay, there is also one thumb rule. What exactly you have to do is load the T-mode value register indicating which timer, that is timer 0 or timer 1, is to be used and which timer mode, that is timer mode 0 or 1. Load registers TL and TH with initial count value, start the timer, keep monitoring the timer flag, that is TF, with JNB TFX target, that means jump if not bit set. So you have to give the relative address and you have to repeat that. So instruction to see it is raised. So JNB TFX target, this instruction will be used as a part of your program. Get out of the loop when TF becomes high, stop the timer, clear TF flag for the next stop. So go back to once again for loading the values in TL and TH and continue the process again. So this is the mechanism. So one by one you have to follow this and then only you can program. Now to calculate the values to be loaded into TL and TH registers, what exactly is to be done? Just see. First of all, what is your crystal frequency that you must know. So here, say for example, we are assuming 11.059 megahertz. We can use this. Then first step is divide the desired time delay by 1.085 microseconds. Why this 1.085? Because it is directly associated with your 11.0592. We have seen the calculation for delay calculation. So therefore we are using it as 1.085, as we know that your frequency is 11.059 megahertz. So from that we are obtaining this. When it is divided by 12, it is coming out to be 921.6 kilohertz, and its reciprocal is nothing but 1.085 microseconds. So this is the thing. Now what we have to do is perform 65536 minus n, where n is the decimal value, so as to get the respective value of TH and TL. Why we are doing this? Because we want to know what exactly what value is to be loaded there in the TH and TL register. So for that purpose we are following this particular step. Then convert the result of step 2 to hexadecimal. So whatever we have obtained 65536 minus n, so that number is to be in hexadecimal, and where that number will be YYXX is the initial X value to be loaded into the timer register, that is XX in TL and YY in TH. So this way it is to be proceeded. Now we will see one example. Before that, one more thing I want to tell you. In the second part of this particular session, we will be once again giving little more focus on that. That is TC-con. This register is also playing important role in this call, because your TF flag is in TC-con. The TC-con register is going to direct the timer. The timers are started by using instruction to set timer start bits, that is TR0 and TR1, and which are called as timer run control bits generally. They can be cleared by clearing the CLR instruction you can use. When the timer counts to its maximum value, it sets a flag TF0 or TF1. So TCON register LSB is IT0, then next bit is IE0, next is IT1, next is IE1, then next is TR0, then TF0, then TR1 and TF1. The lower 4 bits of TCON care of they are directly related with interrupt functions. So here we are not using them. And upper side, that is timer 1 overflag TF1, timer 1 run control bit TR1, timer 0 overflag, that is TF0, and timer 0 run control bit, that is TR0. These bits are playing very important role in the operation. Now here you can see simple program. We want to create a wave, square wave of 50% duty cycle with equal, that is on off value same, and position is, we are just I am mentioning here port 1 P1.5, that means pin number 5. So port 1 pin 5 we will call, or P1.5 bit we want to produce that. Timer 0 is used to generate time delay. So simple operation. First of all, we have to load tmod register. So the small instruction is written move tmod comma hash 01. So mode 1. You can once again recall tmod settings. So since timer 0 we are using, so lower side, upper side, all the 4 bits of timer 1 they are made 0000. So gate bit, C/T bit and mode 0 mode 1 bit from timer 1 set part all are made 0, and in the second half gate bit again C/T and mode 0 and for mode 1 for mode setting. So upper 2 bits gate and C/T again both of them are made 00. So that is gate control 0, internal clock we are using, and timer operation, therefore next bit is also 0, and then we are using 01, that is indicating mode 1. Then move TL0 comma hash 0F2H, this is lower byte, and 0FFH, this is upper byte, so TH0. So timer 0 we are using with mode 1 combination, and there we have loaded the values TL0 and TH0. Then we have written CPL P1.5. CPL is what? Complement. P1.5, the particular bit will get complemented. So this is nothing but the toggling, because after that I have written a call delay. So delay routine is called. So because of that, and then S jump here. So remain in the loop. Go on doing. So therefore it will be once 1, then 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. So it is a 50% square wave, perfect square wave will get generated. Now the values are loaded F2. So we will see, and before that let us have a delay routine. A small delay routine is written. So here we are using set B TR0, start the timer, set B instruction, respective bit is turned on. Where is TR0 bit? TR0 bit is part of TCON register, fourth number bit from TCON register format. So timer is turned on. Then what I have written, JNB TF0. TF0 bit is fifth bit from your timer TCON setting. So that is checked, and again remain in the loop, monitor the timer flag. After that clear TR0, stop the timer, clear that, clear TF0, clear timer flag to 0 and return. This is a small routine, delay routine. The delay subroutine timer 0 is started by set B TR0 instruction. Timer 0 counts up with the passing of each clock, which is provided by the crystal oscillator. As the timer is going to count, it goes through the states F, F, F3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, A, B and so on until it reaches to F, 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 F. Getting? So one more clock rolls it to 0. After one F, 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 it will go to 0, raising the timer flag, that is TF0 1. So at that time there will be overflow. Here you can see in the figure, it starts and then it continues, and then there is an overflow 0, 0, 0, 0. TF bit is set. Timer 0 is stopped by now the instruction clear TR0. So jump if not bit set, we are going to repeat, but once it is set, it will come to the next instruction. Just in the upper part you can see CLR TR0 and CLR TF0 are written. So then it will clear, and we already have loaded the values in TL and TH register. So those two values are responsible for how many such iterations will be there, how many it is as if going through those steps. Now from the same example, say for example, what we want is, we want to calculate amount of time delay in delay subroutine generated by the timer with the crystal frequency 11.059 megahertz. The timer works with a clock frequency of 1/12 of crystal frequency. So therefore we have 11.059, then divide by 12, that will give you 921.6 kilohertz as a timer frequency, timer operating frequency. Each clock has period 1 upon 921.6 kilohertz, that is 1.085. Timer 0 counts up each 1.085 microseconds, resulting in a delay number of counts into 1.085, that will be the total delay. Now the total number of counts for the rollover is FFFF minus FFF2, because we have loaded FFF2 in TH and TL total. So the difference is of 0D. Getting? So that is 13 decimal. And we add 1 to 13 because of that extra clock cycle for rollover. So from FFFF to 0. So that is going to be responsible for setting the TF flag. So that is one additional. This gives 14 into 1.085 microseconds. So total is approximately 15.19 microseconds for half the pulse. Since we want total, so 2 into 15.19 microseconds. The total time delay will be 30.38 microseconds generated by this timer. In hexadecimal, FFFF minus YYXX plus 1 into 1.085 microseconds, where YYXX, these are nothing but two values which are to be loaded from TH and TL initial values respectively. In decimal, if we write, then YYXX values of the TH and TL registers to decimal to get n decimal number, and for that you have to make, for FFFF you have to take it as 65536 minus n into 1.085 microseconds. This is one more small program. Just see. It is going to generate a square wave on P1.5 in the using Keil simulator. I will be showing you all the demonstrations of this timer also, how the waveform on logic analyzer you can observe how that waveform gets generated and all those things. Just as a part of our theoretical aspects, I have to consider program so as to explain all these things. So therefore, in our normal PPTs through that presentation also, I am showing you some examples in the form of program, and at actual using our simulator Keil platform also we will be executing them. So here for example we are producing a square wave on P1.5 continuously using timer 1 for time delay. Now here what is the task is to find the frequency of square wave if the crystal is 11.059. Now see here, simple, move tmod comma #10. So timer 1 mode 1 operation, 16-bit mode we are using. So move TL1. Now here you can see tmod register is loaded with 10 value. What is tmod register format? Gate C/T, then mode bits for timer 1 upper half, and again gate C/T mode bits, mode 1 and 0 bits for setting mode. Now lower half we are not using, so all the 4 bits are 0 0 0 0. So that's why here you can see tmod setting lower nibble is 0 and upper nibble, because timer 1 we are using, so therefore upper nibble and only mode 1 setting, that is 0 1 D4 and D5 bit. So there only you have to load 0 1, and upper D6 and D7 bits are to be made 0 0, because C/T is corresponding to counter/timer. So we are using timer operation. So therefore that must be 0, not the counter. And the gate is internal clock we are using. So therefore gate, and for starting stopping also we are using through doing through the instruction. So therefore gate terminal is 0, control terminal is 0. So therefore the code coming 0 0 0 1 and then 0 0 0 0. So therefore it is 1 0. Now TL1 and TH1 is loaded with the value 34H and 76H. Say for example, here I have shown the actual calculation also below the program, and then we have to write set B PR1 timer we want to start. So for that set B, see here timer program logic is very straightforward and simple. Simple steps. First of all you have to give the settings or parameter settings for tmod. Then you have to load the value for TL1, TL and TH, whether it is 0 or 1 based on the timer. Then set the timer bit TR1 or TR0 based on again the timer setting, and then we have to check in the loop whether the TF bit is set or not. So simple statement JNB TF1 comma back, then clear TR1 CPL P1.5. So the port bit P1.5 we are supposed to use. We want to complement it because we want a toggling square wave effect. So once you have to make it 1, then 0, and then clear TF1 and repeat in the loop SGEM. So small, it is going to repeat itself. It is not auto reload. So therefore you have to pass on the values, and therefore that again is going back once again to move TL1 comma 34H. So like that. Now what will be the frequency? You can see here our uppermost limit for 16-bit timer is FFFF. So minus it will be 7634. You can see here TL1 is loaded with 34, TH1 is loaded with 76. So total number is becoming 7634H. Now the subtraction results in 89CBH and plus 1, because for rollover we want one more. So plus 1. So total is 89CC. So 89CC hexadecimal is nothing but 35276 decimal. So this is the count which is going to produce 35276 into 1.085 microseconds is equal to 38.274 milliseconds for half the square wave, and the frequency is 13.064 Hertz. high portion and low portion of the square wave pulse are equal. The above calculation, the overhead due to all the instructions in the loop is not included. So this also you have to remember. Straightforward process. You have to find out a few more examples. We will be talking about the timer, and for that, just in this beginning session, I have considered only two examples.